on YouTube, it's like you've already worked your ass off to get it to this point, and the only reason that you're starting a new channel is because you think that you've reached a ceiling with your existing one. I think that's the wrong reason to do it. If you're doing it because, like, you know, oh, I have a channel on stock trading and now I do want a channel on knitting, that makes sense, right? But like if you have a stock channel or an investing channel and then you're gonna start a second investing channel thinking that that's going to yield the same results, I think that you're gonna find yourself extremely frustrated.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on? What's going on, guys? Welcome to Own the Chaos. My name is Brad, this is Christian, and we are at the Horseshoe Came In On Saloon here in Baltimore. By the way, again, shout out for the Horseshoe Came In On. We've been coming here now to the horse 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, somewhere around there.
Four?
I think it's been 4.
Wow, I feel like it's been 6.
Shout out to Barcast though, because they've been awesome too.
We should just go back.
This has kind of been our home now. I feel like this little nook that we have is pretty awesome.
Should we just go back there like maybe once every 12?
I mean, we'll have Mike on anyway, so.
Yeah, perhaps.
I'm sure he wouldn't have a problem. Mike's the owner, but you know, it's I don't know. We'll be on a bunch of other bars, I guess, but this should be our home. This feels like
our home base. Yeah. All right, fair enough.
So what's up?
I hate when you start with that question. I mean, that's a fair question, but I was like, it surprises me every time you say it. And I'm like,
just trying to say, hey,
what's up?
How's it going?
What's up? Nothing. What's up with you? What's up with you? I feel like
it's been about you lately.
It's about me, which I'm fine with. But tell me what is going on.
I'm excited. I feel like last time you asked me that question, I said I was anxious.
Yeah.
And the anxiety is still kind of there, but I'm excited because of everything we discovered in Toronto. And I know we touched on it when we had our podcast in Toronto, but now that I've been home and I've had a lot of time to like stew over it, it's like, man, like some of the ways that we can market, not just from like throwing traditional Facebook ads, but like the micro influencer stuff.
Yeah.
That was something that was way off on my radar, and it seemed to be just like, it was all over the place up there. And, you know, it was just really eye-opening to me, being able to like look at other ways, other creative ways to basically market to our consumers was like really mind-blowing. Some of the crazy stuff with like Vidyard and like being able to basically do a video via email and have it personalized like that was just, I mean, some of that stuff just really blew me away.
Yeah, so what is, I'm sure a lot of, out of all the information you've been processing and stewing over, what has really been coming back a lot for you? Is it, or keeps recurring? Is it the micro-influencers?
The micro-influencers was really like big for me, and also like the analytic side of it, being able to kind of like dig down and almost kind of break down you know, your customer base almost kind of like down to the atom. You know, just being able to just dwindle all the way down to its purest form from a consumer level. It's just like, man, all the way down to here's what the weather's doing, here's what people are going to be interested in because of the weather. It's just unbelievable being able to just break it down like that. So like, yeah, the micro-influencers and like just, I'm a huge like analytics person. Like fantasy football, like I'm all up in it, you know? So those two things were kind of like really what, you know, piqued my interest the most, I think.
Yeah, I'm super passionate about both of those things. Before we dive into that, quick question. So out of all the things you've been thinking about, where does the chili dog stand in the priorities?
Listen, that chili dog
was, reflect on the chili
it
cheese
was
dog
so good. It was so good.
You sent me a picture of that chili cheese dog, and it was almost uncomfortably big.
I didn't send it. I put it on my Instagram, which you should have been proud of.
Oh, that's right. That's where I saw it.
And then I get a message saying, that looks real healthy. And I said it was well worth it.
It was like uncomfortable. I was just looking at that thing like.
I had to actually pan with my phone.
It was almost like a not safe for work type of situation when I was looking at that thing.
Oh my God.
But anyways, as far as the micro-influencers, the analytics, so what I'm curious about for you is, we get excited at these conferences. We get so hyped, you
Yeah.
know, and we talked about how do you keep sort of the ball rolling and the energy going. And so so have you thought at all about what the next steps are for you? Like to go from, hey, I've got all this great information and I'm excited about it. And then what are the next steps for you that you've done or that you plan to do to sort of move towards implementation?
So what I've already done, and I mean, I have business cards now, but like being able to go through all the business cards that were handed out to me and kind of being like, nope, that's done. Nope, that's not going to work. Okay, this one. And just kind of like organizing it all out and being like, this is something that I really kind of want to dig a little bit deeper into. And I think also there was people that we didn't even meet that we were getting emails about. They were like, hey, listen, I looked at your stuff. You know, I think we could really definitely be partners, and here's how we operate or whatever. So that's like another whole other area that I need to go down. But just being able to organize it all and just like order of like priority of like this is what really interested me, because there was just, I think I had like a whole pile of business cards that I just kind of had to go through, and most of them were like, okay, this cool concept's not going to work for us. But yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at right now, just kind of like being able to process it all and organize it into a way to where it makes sense, to where like, okay, yeah, that looks like it would be a good opportunity for us to get our name out there. And, you know, I don't know. It was just really cool to just kind of go over all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I know you talked about how excited you were leaving the conference, and, you know, the energy, like you're just ready to get back and get back to work.
Yeah.
You still feel the same? You
Yeah,
still
absolutely.
feel like it's
Absolutely. Like, I've already done that. I've already started to change stuff up, right? Because we were up there, we had more opportunities to just talk.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm taking a less is more approach to the channel. I'm not trying to flood everybody with all this stuff, because it's not, first of all, it's not working. Second of all, it's draining me like crazy, or was. You know, I feel so much better even just a week into it. I haven't had a midday market recap in a week. And it feels weird, but it also feels great, because it's like, okay, I can get some other stuff done that actually matter. I can spend more time with people that are actually in the group, you know, especially the paid mentorships and stuff like that. I can still hang out. Whereas like, I felt like from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. or later, like that's almost my whole day that I'm spending on just trying to get stuff out on YouTube. And it just, you know, and it wasn't even working. You know, I get 200-300 views each midday market recap. I wasn't getting any more subscribers. I did it for almost 6 months. So it's like, you get to a point you're like, okay, you're doing this repetitiously, it's not working. Scrap it, and then try to see if you can take yourself into a new direction. And that's where this came about. And so that's why we're putting more videos out directed towards this Barcast, because we were only doing it, once or twice a week. And so now we're...
Yeah, well, let's talk about that a little bit, because the timing is interesting. You know, like you're big in YouTube. I'm big in Instagram, cashier. And so I'm big in Instagram. I didn't tell you this, but in Instagram, I've started to feel like I'm making some serious movement. So, I mean, I have 800 followers.
Yeah.
But in the analytics, in the insights of Instagram, you can see how many profile visits are coming to your page.
Right.
And I'm starting to see it finally grow. Where honestly, man, it was like 6 months. It was stagnant.
Right.
At a certain level. It was like at 80. If I had 100, that was good. 100 profile visits. And so it was like 80 to 120 was like awesome. And now I'm seeing it just steadily climb. Now it's like never below 200.
Wow.
And then it took me forever to like hit 800. I just hit 800, and then 2 days later I'm at 815. And so, you know,
all those people that missed the wedding crashing.
Oh man, they missed the wedding crashing. They missed Hamilton crashing. They missed Margarita, my daughter. Well, my daughter and Margarita, my daughter's alter ego. They missed it all.
Yeah.
They missed Toronto. So, but and we talked about it. Those are vanity metrics,
Yeah.
but they're an indicator.
Yeah.
And it's been really cool to like finally see the momentum. And it was like this groundswell where I was just like, I trust it. I trust the process. And now I'm seeing movement. So we're kind of trying to do the same thing in 2 different platforms, which is really cool. So tell me about sort of what you've been experiencing, because I know we've talked about with subscriberships
I've been frustrated, really. I mean,
Is subscriberships even a word?
I don't know.
Subscribers.
Subscribers. I don't even think mentorship.
Subscriptions.
I don't think mentorship is actually a real word either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but we just use it anyway. I mean, selfie was never a word until it was. But
You said, okay, mid-market recap, like you weren't seeing, it wasn't achieving the intended results.
yeah,
And you were feeling burnout. Would you have still felt the same way if you were like burnout and like whatever, if you were seeing growth?
if it was productive, no. I think that I would have been motivated
Okay.
because I was actually seeing some sort of return on my investment. You know, even though I
Okay.
wasn't spending money, I'm spending time.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting any kind of return on that. So I just decided to cut it and said, okay, let's just take it in a different direction. And it's not that I'm leaving stocks altogether because I'm still putting stock stuff out. You know, Stock Watch Sunday is always just going to be a staple of the channel. I think it's never going anywhere. You know, I'm starting to sprinkle in other stock-related stuff throughout the week, along with what we got going on here. But I will always and forever stock trade until the day I die. There's no retiring for me. I think I'm just so passionate about it. But I'm also passionate about the business. You know, I went to school for business because it was something that I was passionate about. So it's not even that like I needed to go into business. I probably could have just lived off of trading forever. But being able to create that impact and all of that, and we've talked about that, it was kind of like really what gets me going too. So for me, it was like I'm just spending all this time and energy and nothing's happening. So maybe I need, you know, what definition of insanity is just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah.
And it's like you gotta cut that out. And so that's what I did, and hopefully maybe this will start to catch on a little bit more. But at least for right now, I'm just enjoying this so much to where it's like I won't say that I won't care.
The results aren't the primary motivator. Like the viewership and the growth isn't the primary motivator.
Right. And if I get a bunch of viewers out of it, awesome. But right now I'm just kind of enjoying the process, and we'll kind of see where it goes.
Yeah, and as you were talking, I was thinking about that. Like, what's the difference? Because some midday market recaps, you're actually getting more viewerships than the Barcast.
Yeah.
But as I'm thinking, and you were saying value in the ROI, that's not giving you value. Whereas at the very least, you and I are just doing a value exchange.
Yeah.
And so the purpose of sitting here is not like, oh, let's sit here and talk so we can get a bunch of subscribers. No, let's sit here and talk to each other, and then hopefully it resonates with people. But we've had conscious conversations of like, we're not gonna care about the viewership.
Yeah.
That came out wrong. we're not gonna make the determinant of success the viewership and the subscriber count. But we hope that subscribers and viewers will like engage and allow us to have content to be a part of the conversation.
Yeah.
We're opening to them, but really fundamentally it's just about you and I having conversations and growing as entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. And I think that it's all about It's all about.
I would agree.
All about.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself. It's all
about. That was even worse. That was even more embarrassing than just. You just kept going.
I'm committed. I'm committed. I don't know why.
Just stop.
Why I thought bark and bark.
Just stop.
You ever do the turkey?
Part of practicing what we preach is like when we talked about your why and your purpose of starting a business, was that not focusing on the money so much. And on YouTube, the currency is time.
Yeah.
So if we are practicing what we preach, yes, the time that gets spent on the channel is important, but it shouldn't be everything.
Yeah.
And so, now it's just, we're going to do what we love doing, and we're going to try it like hell to make an impact.
And until somebody tells us to shut up or to shut down, and you can do that through likes.
That's right.
Give us a thumbs up.
But no, seriously, like, I think it's really important because we talk about money being a byproduct of your business.
Yeah.
And that it's not everything that you should be doing because of your business. but that it should just be a result of you doing good business. And I think being on YouTube, being a social influencer, whatever, the same principles should apply, that you're doing something that you love to do, you're making an impact, and then everything will kind of fall into place. Maybe you're not the biggest YouTuber out there, maybe you're not the biggest person on Instagram, but that doesn't matter. If you're making some sort of impact and people are responding to that, then that's what you should keep rolling with, not just views and subscribers and all that BS that people think actually matters.
True. But deep, deep down, you're looking at the subscriber count.
All the time.
I mean, once a week you call me and tell me how you're shutting the whole thing down and starting over.
That is not
Like,
true.
I'm doing knitting. I'm going to start a knitting YouTube channel.
I thought about starting a second channel, but you know what I thought about too? So and this is a complete theory on my part.
Yeah.
People start second channels because they think that theirs has just reached a ceiling, and so they're like, oh, I'm going to start a second channel and grow that one too.
Sure.
And all the ones that I've looked at have failed miserably. Either failed or they just don't grow anywhere near what their original channel was. So like, I'm just going to try to not change, start a second channel, period. I've had some people say you should just start a second channel for business and just leave it at that. But every single one that I've seen, and I can give you 5 examples right off the top of my head, it's like their second channel is this big. Whereas like if they just stuck with their big one, who knows where their channel, like you're devoting too much time to something that probably doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
It's like starting a whole nother business.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, if you start a whole other business and it's successful, that's fine. But like on YouTube, it's like you've already worked your ass off to get it to this point, and the only reason that you're starting a new channel is because you think that you've reached a ceiling with your existing one. I think that's the wrong reason to do it. If you're doing it because like, oh, I have a channel on stock trading and now I do want a channel on knitting, that makes sense, right? But like if you have a stock channel or an investing channel and then you're going to start a second investing channel thinking that that's going to yield the same results, I think that you're going to find yourself extremely frustrated. And this parallel that with stock trading and business, I don't think it's too much of a reach to not keep it on the same channel.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think it's when you relate it to companies, and when a company grows, like you start off with, let's just say, a product that works really, really well. At some point, you've got to evolve. At some point, you got to add an extension, right? So like if you sell toothpaste, you might have an extension. You might say, okay, I want to do flavored toothpaste, right? Or I want to do whitening toothpaste, and like it's in line. But then you may say, you know what? I want to do mouthwash, right? So the Barcast is the mouthwash of the OTC channel.
That's a real thin. That's real thin, man. That's real thin.
What?
I don't know.
It's the mouth.
You've had
Welcome
better,
to the mouthwash. The mouthwash podcast. Don't do mouthwash weekly. Do mouthwash daily, though. That's the one thing I would recommend.
Oh my God.
All right, I'm done. I'll stop.
That is so bad. I don't think you're really. You're going to watch this and you're going to be like, what the fuck?
I know. I'm going to be so embarrassed. I'm going to make you pull all of it out.
It's staying, for one. For 2, I'm also going to put it on all of my Insta stories for the next 3 weeks of you just barking like a goddamn dog.
I can't breathe. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Well, maybe this is a new thing we start. People send in videos of them market. Maybe this is like a trend that I just started.
No, it's definitely not going to be one.
This is like the theme for the day is like wild animals. All right, so anyways, I don't even know why I barked. What set me off?
Because I said a bark instead of about.
No, I mean just now. Yeah, mouthwash and something.
Yeah.
It's, again, we're here.
The worst illustration possible.
All right, so yes, don't start a second channel.
No, it's not going to happen.
Us, we need you. We need Own the Chaos. Don't start a knitting channel either.
And well, it's all relatable. It's all part of the same community. Own the Chaos is the CEO of We Trade HQ.
Yes.
We Trade HQ is a business.
Yes.
We talk about business.
Business is chaotic.
Right. Life is chaotic, and so that's why this channel, I think, exists.
So that's a perfect segue into what I've been wanting to talk to you about. We don't talk about this enough. The multiple hats we wear, and I want to understand how you're doing and maybe any feedback you have on the hats you wear. So you are the CEO and founder of WeTrade HQ. You have co-founder.
Shout out, Jake.
WeTrade HQ. You have your mentorship, which is a whole nother role, and I would argue that that's a whole nother business.
Yeah.
Your YouTube channel is a whole nother business.
Yep.
And there was one other thing I felt like you also had.
I mean, just trading. I still
Trading.
I used to tell myself that I wasn't a serial entrepreneur, and then I became one.
Yeah.
I got businesses within businesses, and then we're about to open up another one. So
yeah,
nobody knows about. So
yeah,
be on the lookout.
And don't
for
tell
that.
them.
No.
Between us.
Yeah, but yeah, it's all. What were you going to ask me about doing all
Well, so we tend to lean towards WeTrade HQ. How do you manage that, or how do you reconcile those roles? And do you look at them? It's like sometimes I forget because I have like 5 or 6 roles, just like you. So we're in the same situation. We never talk about it, which is funny.
Yeah.
How do you manage that process, or do you just kind of view it as like a whole sort of
I just
mixed
view
bag?
it as I just view it as all one business because I feel as if they're all intertwined with each other so much to the point to where why shouldn't I just treat them all as it's all one thing?
Do you ever worry that you'll fall victim to like sort of overextending yourself, or what if you just focused on one? What would that mean? I think I know your answer, but
so if I just focused on one, I would be worried about making the other, and I'm just talking about the community itself. Like if I just focused on the mentorship and ignored everything else, because the thing is, if I focus on just my mentorship, even though it's part of WeTrade HQ, that means I'm ignoring all the other members and community of WeTrade HQ because we have a free community. So if I'm just focusing on the paid people, then the people that are taking advantage of the free stuff, which I encourage people to take advantage of the free stuff, then I feel as if I'm not making them feel important enough because they're not paid members.
okay.
So I feel like there's a risk.
That's a fair point. I think that what I'm asking is a little bit different. So what I'm asking is like, do you ever wonder, like, is that the right approach, or should you have just not done all the other?
Oh.
And what if you spent one? Because I'm thinking about like, what if somebody came to us and they're like, hey, Brian and Christian, I want to talk to you. Like, you know, they're a young entrepreneur, aspiring entrepreneur, and we're like, okay, what's your idea? Well, I want to do this and this and this and this, and this is how they all tie together. I don't know if our feedback would be like, yeah, go get them. We might say pick one and blow it out of the water.
But it never started off that way, though. You know, I could have focused all my energy on trading, and if I ignored everything else, then WeTrade HQ would exist. If I stop trading, how can I then be a mentor in a mentorship if I don't trade? You know, because there's I don't know. I can't just sit here and not trade another day in my life and be like, oh yeah, do this, do that, do this, do that. You know, manage the risk here and manage the risk there, and I haven't traded in 10 years. So that in and of itself doesn't make any sense. And maybe I could have dropped off of YouTube, but I think the other part of that is it's also creating a funnel and, you know, getting eyeballs on the WeTrade HQ itself.
Yep.
And so it just all works together. I don't know if I could actually let one drop off at this point, because if I did, then I would be missing a significant part of my business.
Yeah, that's true. So this more philosophical.
What did you think I was going to say?
What did I think you were going to say? I thought you were going to say they complement each other and then they allow each other to grow.
That.
Yeah. And they actually support each other and allow them to grow.
Yeah, that's a good word, support.
I don't know if mine so much do that. They do in a way, but not really, you know? And so yours do kind of tie together. But what if you just like said, hey, I don't want to do mentorship and I'm going to grow? We've talked about this as just do the CEO, and what value would that bring to the company?
I think eventually.
Unless I'm wrong. No, I'm never wrong.
Okay. So I think eventually, sorry, mentorship peeps, that I'm going to have to let that go at some point. Because I think that, and this is probably a ways off, so it's not like it's happening next week or next month or even next year, but I think that eventually, if this gets to a point to where we expect it to, I'm going to be needed in a much larger capacity from the business standpoint, because We Trade HQ is my business, it's my baby, it's my community. So I think being able to provide value for community-wide, demographic than just this little area over here will be important. Now, I don't think that Own the Chaos mentorship will go anywhere. I think what I foresee happening is that I'm going to be able to kind of have somebody take it over that I trust, that follows the same type of disciplines that I do, that I know that people can still connect with. I'm sure there will be a difficult transition period because there's going to be a lot of diehard people that are going to be like, oh, well, Brad did this or Brad did that. There's going to be a lot of comparisons.
Yeah.
And that's a risk that I'm going to have to take. But I think that eventually it's going to come to a point to where I'm not going to be able to do all of it. I'm going to have to let one of them go. And I could foresee that happening, and like I said, it won't be in the near future, but I could see it happening eventually.
What are going to be the factors to that sort of problem, or not problem, but what are going to be the factors in that decision-making process?
I'm not sure, and I've actually asked myself that before. It's like, at what point are you going to tell yourself that you just have to let that go? And I don't know. I think it's just going to have to happen one day.
Yeah.
If I'm just be like, listen, I got so much going on. I got too much at stake here with We Trade HQ that I'm going to have to let something go. And maybe even that's YouTube. I doubt it, because YouTube, the more that I dig into this, the more I can just document whatever it is that I'm doing. So I think that's going to be the easiest part.
Yeah.
But I think, I'll probably have to I'll never let trading go. So, I mean, the only other thing that's left at that point, I think, is the mentorship. And like I said, I think it's going to be a long time, because the mentorship doesn't require me a whole lot of time commitment, because I'm doing everything that I would normally do anyway. And all I'm doing is just communicating it with people in the morning. So, like I said, it'll be a long time, but I don't know. I don't have the answer. I guess.
Well, and as I'm thinking that through for you, this is something I'm sure we'll have conversations about, but the conversation came to mind when we talked about the value of everything you do. And I think that decision is going to be made when the value of yourself as a CEO and the money you'll be able to bring in to focus on it is going to outweigh the value of the mentorship in your pocket.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be like, then the question becomes, how does the transition happen?
Right.
Because I was thinking about how Apple transitions people into leadership positions. I don't know how much you watch sort of the conferences that Apple has, but like when Steve Jobs, Tim Cook were making transition, or they'd have a leadership position, like the way those go, they like sort of start slowly integrating that person into the position.
Right.
And it's almost like if you were to have a mentorship and then you had somebody else who did a mentorship, or who was your student who was really knowledgeable, and you had them come on and them just start answering questions, right? So that started taking off your plate. And then they started becoming a little bit more visible. Maybe they started actually taking over one of your morning mentorships for 10 minutes.
Right.
And then that grows and that grows and that grows. And then they've now established a relationship with your people. And then when you transition off, it's like, hey, I'm going to come on once a month or once a week. And then this person's going to take over until all of a sudden that person, your client base is now their client base, or your mentees is that person's mentees. I'm
going to have to obviously tread carefully when it comes to that transition. But I think also, like, maybe it comes to a point to where I am like, I don't know. If I'm just as open and honest with them as I am with like you guys and everybody else, and transparent, then I think they're going to be able to see the writing on the wall before it actually happens. Yeah. so that nobody's surprised or taken off guard, and they're like, listen, we understand how important We Trade HQ is and the community itself, that we get it, and let's try to figure out how we can make it all work and make everybody happy still. Because obviously, I think even if you're in my morning mentorship, you see the value that We Trade HQ as a whole has. So, and you know who runs it. So if there's going to be a much stronger need for the person that runs it to commit more time to it, then I think that level of understanding will come a lot easier.
For sure. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see that. I remember Regis and Kathy Lee, when they transitioned out the co-host, they would like have people guest host, and then they found Kelly Ripa, and then the transition happened the same way when Regis was transitioning out, right? And so it's interesting because there's a level of like communicating with your people, but also like having a game plan and like also filtering out the right person. So, you know, they were testing out these co-hosts and they never even knew that they were kind of on interview with it.
Right.
So
that's
good. I mean, there's going to be a point in time where you're going to have to make that decision, and we'll sort of, it'll be interesting to navigate through that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a ways off, but it's something to think about.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.